Happy Taco Tuesday. Today we're going to be doing a review on Marvel's Black Widow, starring Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz. And you're probably asking yourself, how can they be doing a movie on Black Widow when we already know her fate? And you're probably wondering where in the timeline this movie falls. It actually falls into place right after Captain America Civil War. So we finally get the question answered. What was Black Widow up to after Civil War? Actually, no, I don't think anyone was asking that question, but we do get to find out about her origin story and also what she was going through as she was going through basic training as far as being a spy and also being an assassin. Now, I'll be completely honest, I was really not looking forward to this movie. I had very low expectations just because the Black Widow character is not my favorite, and as far as female superheroes go, she's definitely very low on the totem pole for me. However, when I walked into this movie, like I said, I had very low expectations. However, this movie actually pleasantly surprised me. What I really did appreciate about this movie that it was actually kind of grounded, and I use the term grounded very lightly because yes, it is still a superhero movie. However, it's more treated like a spy action thriller. So I did appreciate that for the most part, she was not fighting aliens. She didn't ride off on an alien like she did in the Avengers movie. She does not have superhuman powers. She does not have superhuman strength. She does not have a special suit that does super things. She does not have wings. She doesn't have any of that stuff. So I did appreciate that the movie was treated more like a spy thriller and it was a lot more grounded than I expected it to be. So something else that I appreciated about the movie was the fact that they actually used actual filming locations. There was probably some segments where there was a lot of CGI. However, they tricked me pretty well in this movie. There was a lot of different locations. Looked like there was some shots in Australia and also some shots in Georgia and Norway as well. And what I did like about the movie is the fact that it stuck out compared to other Avenger films. It was an all green screen. Also, I feel like I've not seen a movie like this since probably the first Iron Man. I feel like since Iron Man 1, after that, everything was CGI, especially with Iron Man 1, after Iron Man 2 and 3, Captain America, and so on, Black Panther, everything's been green screen to death. So I really did appreciate the fact that this actually looked kind of realistic. The conflict in this movie, not only is Black Widow on the run from the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's also trying to put the pieces of her life together as well. And she's also trying to determine if the school or the team or League of Assassins that she was working under is actually dismantled. However, she finds out that they are not. And there's a whole team of Black Widows trying to go after her. I did like the performance out of Florence Pugh. I felt that she was not only giving a great performance, her action sequences were good, and also her character is very well developed. And I do feel like her character is going to be going into bigger things later on, somewhere in the MCU. I also really enjoyed the jabs that she gave to Scarlett Johansson's character, the Black Widow, because some of the things she was kind of making fun of her about, I was like, that's exactly what I've been thinking this entire time. So I did enjoy those little jabs that she would take at her. And like I was saying in the beginning of this review, that it's kind of grounded. Like I said, it's not 100% grounded. I use that term very lightly, like I was saying, because every so often, like you're thinking like you're watching like a Jason Bourne type of movie or even like a Mission Impossible type of movie, it kind of starts jumping into that superhero mode, and I'm kind of like, ooh, it's kind of like struggling with what it wants to be exactly, because like I was explaining earlier, Black Widow does not have any superpowers, and every so often in this movie, I would catch Scarlett Johansson's character like defying gravity and jumping out of windows and landing on her feet, and I was like, unless she's in the Fast Saga, I'm not believing it. However, that's not the character's fault. It's more like the MCU's fault because they're inconsistent with all the characters' superpowers. Sometimes you don't know what the superpower is, if any, and sometimes we don't know what they are until out of convenience they appear. If I had any complaints, or the only complaints that I do have, is the fact that since we know what the fate is of this character, there was no tension. I felt like I was like, well, I know it's gonna happen because we know what happens because we've seen it already. So I felt like anything that caused tension or, possible nail-biting moments with that character, I was kind of thinking like, I already know what's going to happen, so I'm not going to be really fazed. Also, the villain, the Taskmaster, is a very awesome villain. In the comics, the character is very well written. It's actually a dangerous character. It's a character that's always feared. It's been in the Avengers comics. It's been in Spider-Man's comics. It's actually a very neat character. I felt like that's a character that should be ongoing throughout the MCU. However, in this movie, the character felt very wasted. Very wasted indeed. It almost felt like a Mandarin type of situation, like in Iron Man 3, or almost kind of like a Deadpool from X-Men Origins. Other than that, this movie is very entertaining. It's not the best MCU movie, like a lot of posters say. I don't think it's the best, but it's definitely up, and I would say maybe the top 5. So I would definitely go check it out. I'm gonna give Black Widow a B-. Hopefully you like what you see here. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.